there are a couple of things that I want you to do before you even think about pitching a journalist. And these are really, really important. You're going to leave here, you're going to be fired up, you're going to want to go out and call up your local television station, but make sure you have all these in place first. Number one is your website. The first thing anyone does now is look for your website. When you send them some information about your company, when somebody else is talking about you, if they hear it on the radio, people can remember the name of your company. They're going to go home and type it into Google. If you don't have a website, people are going to, that's like one strike. People are going to start to question like the credibility there. A Facebook page isn't good enough. You need to have a website. This is going to be a true reflection of your brand. I mean, the truth is, I go to websites to decide whether or not I'm going to engage with that person. If a new client comes to us and says, we want to talk to you about representing us, the first thing I do is go to their website. And if their website is not up to par, and I know that I can't put it out there, I can't send it to the editors of the Oprah magazine, I'm going to let them know and say, you really need to invest into a quality website. And then if you go ahead and do that, then we can talk further. You want to have bios of your key personalities, because what's going to happen is they're going to call you for an interview, or they're going to ask to speak to somebody. If you work with a restaurant, they're going to want to speak to your chef. What's your chef's background information? Who's running the business? You don't want to have a reporter call you up and say, can you send me your bio, and you hang up the phone and go, oh no, we don't have one. Because that can take some people 2-3 hours to write. You need to have that ready to go so that when they ask, your sort of standard information about your company should only be a paragraph, maybe two, a little bit of history about who you are, what you do, your bottom line information, all ready to go. Who is your spokesperson? If you are going to have a panic attack when the news calls and says, we want to come and shoot you this afternoon, you know, can you be ready to do a camera interview at 3 p.m., you should not be the spokesperson. It's great when it's a person that's at the top of the food chain in your company, but if that person is not camera friendly or is really just going to be the deer in headlights, you have to find somebody who's comfortable going on camera. And on that note, you want to rehearse. So if you've never been on camera before, set up a little flip cam, record yourself talking and mocking and doing an interview, talk to yourself in the mirror. You might think you're crazy, but I promise you if you go on TV cold, you're going to collapse. You have to have everything planned out of what you want to say in advance, and I promise you won't regret it, because a lot of times you get one chance. And if you succeed in that one chance, they're going to invite you back. If you fail, they're never going to call you again. Photography, crucial. I can say this being an editor, it's a deal breaker. It's being on the other side of it as a publicist, it's got to be ready to go. We had an opportunity that happened on Tuesday night. I got a phone call from the Charlotte Observer at 20 after 5. He said, I've got this story, I'm ready to run it tomorrow because we just had another cancellation back out. Do you have a headshot? I said, yep, I'll have it to you within the hour. I mean, I had a panic attack because I didn't have the headshot. And I called everyone I had to find. We got the headshot. The story ran on Wednesday morning in the paper. If you didn't have that photo ready to go or know that you could get it, you're in trouble. I would have lost the opportunity. And chances are now, if I go back to him in the future, he's going to know he can get what he needs from me when he needs it. When he's on a deadline, he's in a bind, he's got an opening, he doesn't know what to do, everybody else has gone home for the day. I answered my phone, and by 6:30, I got him what he needed. In the regards to photography, if you have a retail space, you want to have beautiful images of your retail space. If you have a product, your product needs to be shot on a white background. Photos that are in the grass, styled lovely, are wonderful, and that's great for part of your branding and some of your marketing. But when an editor says we need your photo to run, like that first image when Good Housekeeping showed, look at how all these images are done. They're all shot on a white background. And some of these bigger magazines are going to shoot them on their own. You don't have to worry about it. But you need to have images done just like you see them in the magazine. That way there you can send them off. They're ready to go. Pick 5 of your best products and have those be what you're pitching. We run into this a lot because we work with a lot of restaurants, so we're constantly pitching recipes. And they're always coming back and saying, do you have a photo to run with the recipe? And so we're always saying, yep, we'll have that in an hour. And we call up the chef and say, we need you to make this. We got to photograph it, because it happens all the time. So if you have them ready to go, you're in a much better place. Sample products is another one on that note. Editors are going to want to try them out. You know, they want to test it out, especially if it's something new and kind of different, or if it's a food product, something that's different on the market that you can't just look at a photo and say, oh, that looks awesome. They're going to want to see it. And so you have to be ready and willing to send them sample products and not expect that they're necessarily going to come back. You know, if you're working at a really, really high, I mean like thousands of dollars price point, then you don't have to expect that it can come back. But for the most part, you're going to be sending it out and just sort of on good faith and hoping that it gets picked. A lot of times it's not going to get picked. You're going to get a lot more no's than you are yeses. But if you send out those sample products, you're going to have a much better chance of seeing the results.